when it comes to unemployed graduates, 80% of unemployed graduates are Black. Now that says a lot. Hi there, welcome or welcome back to my channel. My name is Mufaro M, and today's topic is a bit of a sensitive topic, but I believe it is very important to have difficult conversations. The video will be titled "What to Study After Matric to Avoid Unemployment." Now, if this video is triggering for you, please consider not watching it and watch another video. I'm going to be breaking the video into, I think, 4 or 3 parts. Firstly, I'm going to give the bad news, what you might not want to study. Secondly, I'll talk about which careers can you go into which actually have a higher chance of employment. Thirdly, I'll be discussing other matters because in as much as the decision of what to study after matric is a very personal decision, it's also going to probably be an emotional decision. Thirdly, you might also have no other choice due to maybe the bursary you got, or for example how you performed when it comes to your matric results. So for example, you can't study accounting if you didn't have more than 60% or 70% in maths, depending on which accounting you're going to study. So yeah, there is a lot of factors. In as much as we want to think about an employment in the future, you also don't want to study something and then regret it later. To start off with the bad news, these are the careers that don't have a lot of jobs. Number one being human resources, labor relations, social sciences, and etc. And the complicated thing also is, I remember being in matric, I didn't really know about what was available. So this is a very crucial time. I would urge you to do a lot of research, and also sadly I feel like there isn't enough support. I don't know now, but there isn't a lot of resources that people can go to or students can go to ask themselves, what can I study? And also there isn't enough being talked about when it comes to careers where people are struggling to get jobs. So human resources doesn't come as a surprise to me. I think it also has to do with the fact that there can only be so many human resource employees at a at a business or at a workplace. So it's probably a case of maybe a lot of people are studying it, but there's only so many jobs for available. Secondly, social sciences, industrial psychology. I'm not surprised by that because the trend nowadays, especially when it comes to social work, social sciences, as I was talking about, they now prefer to hire people who did clinical psychology as compared to people who did industrial psychology or other psychologies. So these are things to think about. This is also information that is not readily available, I feel, but you can also do your research. Like, it takes a lot of time to do research because we are not built the same. There's so many industries, so many faculties, so many departments, and within a faculty there can be a lot of jobs, some of them having higher unemployment, some of them having lower chances of employment. I also forgot to mention public administration as well as political sciences. And I think sometimes the question you have to ask yourself is, if I study political science, where am I going to work? Or how am I going to break into that, industry? How am I going to make an impact? What is my plan? So with political science, I have never, honestly, truthfully speaking, I maybe because it's not an industry I am in. I studied accounting. I'm in the finance field. I honestly cannot give you an answer as to what does someone that studied political science go, where do they go and work. And what I do know though is, I went to university, I went to Stellenbosch University, and I think people who are into politics started building their career at university because, at campus there's always political parties that you can join from, a campus perspective. There's always, like, I don't want to talk too much about that because I was never interested in those things, but I think for some careers you have to have a solid plan as to how am I going to break into this industry, what am I going to do, how am I going to stand out. And also you can't exactly go study political science and be someone who's shy, you're not very good at talking, or you're not you're not very good at advocating for people, you are not in the SRC, you are not already taking up space, starting in leadership, you're not in the house committee even at your raise, etc., etc. Like, there are people built for certain careers, and there are people who are not built for certain careers. I also want to mention, I think, as someone who has been through the university system, there is a lot of there's a lot of careers to watch out for. If you're gonna go study a bachelor of science, so for example, if you go do a bachelor of science, there's a lot of majors you can take. Let's say you major in soil science, I don't know, you have to ask yourself, where am I gonna work with this degree? Are the farm owners gonna allow me to, are they gonna give me a job? Because I might have forgotten to mention this, but I should have mentioned this at the beginning of the video. There is currently a 45.5% youth unemployment. When it comes to unemployed graduates, 80% of unemployed graduates are black. Now that says a lot, and only 19.2% are white. Now that honestly speaks volumes. In as much as we don't want to be open about these conversations, there are certain careers that are not so easy for people of color to break into because of the racism, and how those certain careers or spaces are still white controlled, white dominated, and they don't really want to let blacks in. This is just a fact. It's a conversation people are not willing to have, but we are seeing it affect people. On I think I'm going to add part 4 on this video, when I discuss what measures can you put in place. For example, if you go and study bachelor BA humanities, or a lot of the BA degrees, for example, Bachelor of Arts in Law or Bachelor of Arts in Humanities. I'll just talk for humanities. I don't know about law, but that's also a different topic, because I did see a TikTok of a lady who did an LLB, which is your law degree, and she was struggling to get articles or a placement so she can actually start, practicing and training. But that's also a complicated story. I think there are jobs in law, but it's also very limited. So towards the end of my video, I'm going to talk about other factors that count when it comes to, do you get employed or do you not get employed. This is also a very broad, it's a very, very broad topic. And yeah, I think I can't actually cover everything in one video. Some of them I might come with a part 2, because also it can be very industry specific. So this is just a very broad video. So for example, people who studied BA humanities, I'll talk about what some people who had, your degrees, even your bachelor of science, that could see that at the end of this 3-year degree, I'm not going to have a job. What did they do to actually get a job? So let's move on to some good news. What can you study to actually avoid unemployment? Number 1 at the list is IT and software development, cybersecurity. This does not come as a surprise, because in as much as we want to study something we love, something we enjoy, we need to be in touch with reality. We need to ask ourselves, where is the world going? The world has gone digital. Everything, most systems are computerized. Everything is automated. That's the right word. I'm not very good with computers myself, but this is something we cannot run away from. I was in first year in 2014, and at that time, every single degree had a computers course, but obviously a very basic general computers course, how to use your Excel, your PowerPoint, your Microsoft, etc. And it must be worse now. They have to keep on advancing it, because the digital world is taking over. And if you, even as an accountant, if I don't understand how computers work, how certain systems work, how computerized accounting systems work, I might not be able to relate or work or apply my knowledge as well as if I had that knowledge of how is a computerized system working. So, and IT has a lot of jobs. Even if you just go on jobs 24, I don't know what it's called, Indeed, whatever, there's always jobs available, and they're paying very well. Now, obviously, not everybody is good at computers, not everybody can code, not everybody can develop softwares. Computer science is a very difficult course. you can't just be on some, there's jobs in this and let me go study that and then go to university and fail dismally at it. So that's why I said at the end of this video I am going to touch on other factors and how we can work around those factors, because honestly the system is not designed for us. The system, I've always felt that the system is against, it's against you, and it sometimes even goes beyond the issues of race. The system has just never been for you. um at number 2 on the list of industries that have more jobs is obviously the healthcare industry. And I think this one is obvious because, of course not everybody has a passion for health. I could have never been a doctor, a nurse, whatever, etc., because it's not work that is designed for everyone. I think you have to be emotionally strong if you're gonna go work in the health faculty, in the health industry. You have to also have a passion for healing people. But people always get sick, so there's always a job. Hospitals are always full, people are always giving birth, people, like, there is always a job in that field. It's almost rare for there not to be. I know currently there was a story about doctors that have not been placed in terms of training and jobs, but I think, I'm not sure what the story is there, but generally speaking, if you are in the health faculty, the chances of you ending up without a job are very slim. And yeah, this is also why I wanted to add other factors, because you could study IT and still struggle to get a job because of other factors. So we are going to discuss these other factors. It is a complex job industry, a job, no, it is a complex job market currently. There's just always a lot that is not spoken about, a lot that is not what it seems. So according to the piece of article I read, number 3 on the list is renewable energy and environmental studies. This doesn't come as a surprise, especially for the South African economy, where we recently had, ESCOM struggling to provide electricity 24/7. Though they have fixed that issue for now, it's a good industry to be in, because then people are looking at other options besides ESCOM. So there's a lot of jobs in that industry if you have a plan as to how can you resolve the issue we are currently having in South Africa with ESCOM. Number 4 at the list is finance and financial technology. I think it is quite rare, or rather, yeah, it's not 100%. I think, let me just say as a disclaimer, you studying finance and financial technology does not mean you have a job, or you studying IT does not guarantee you a job. It's just to say that there's a higher chance of securing a job if you are in that industry. So I am in finance, but I think I can talk more about the accounting side of finance. I think accounting, general accounting, you may struggle to find jobs for whatever reason. But also considering the issue, and I think that has to do with automation. So remember, when it comes to accounting starts at bookkeeping, right? We have a bookkeeper who records every single transaction. Okay, Pick n Pay has bought a vehicle, the bookkeeper will make sure that that is recorded. But when it comes to Pick n Pay, for example, I doubt Pick n Pay has a bookkeeper, because their system is fully automated. So when it comes to what you study, you need to think about what jobs are now very rare to secure, because there's a system or an app now performing that job. For example, bookkeeping is almost, I don't think in the next 10 years we'll have bookkeepers, because there is a system, there is apps, there is something called QuickBooks, which does your books on itself. And then an accountant now is someone who has more knowledge as to how to do the financial reporting, how to draft the financial statements, how to do the taxes, how to make sure taxes are paid, payroll, there's 2 jobs, etc., etc. Then we have an auditor who comes in and basically ensures that everything has been done according to the standard, which would be IFRS, etc. So if you are in accounting, you know more about that. So within a faculty, there's also jobs which have a higher chance, those with a lesser chance, etc., etc. So yeah, it's My advice to, matriculants or anyone who is thinking about starting a new course, always do your research, because it's quite painful to go through the difficult process of studying, passing exams, failing exams, rewriting exams. Like, it's very, very stressful, and then only to not be able to secure a job. It's very painful, and my heart goes out to anyone who might be in that situation. Number five at the list is education and e-learning. Look, this one is also a very obvious one. People are continuously having children. There's continuously children who need to be taught, who there's always a need for teachers. I think where this is why I wanted to discuss other factors. So what could maybe there are a lot of teachers unemployed currently. I'm not oblivious to that, but I think it has to do with placement, location. Where are people located? People don't want to work as teachers in the villages, they want to stay in the city, but now the city only has so many jobs to absorb people. So there's a lot of factors to consider when it comes to employment, what you study, where you are, etc. Number six at the list is engineering and construction. This is quite interesting. I would have expected engineering and construction to be somewhere at number 2 or 3, but higher chance. As I said before, it doesn't mean 100% guaranteed. Sometimes there are a lot of factors that go into maybe why someone is struggling to find employment, but engineering and construction is quite high up on the list, which makes sense, because there's always a need for engineering. One is quite surprising to me, and engineering is very broad. We must remember there's civil engineering, there's electrical engineering, there's mechanical engineering. There is an engineering that doesn't have a lot of jobs, which is chemical engineering. I hear people struggle to get jobs in that one. It's called chemical engineering or process engineering, that's what they call it. Civil engineering is surprising to me. You'd think that we've already built enough houses and buildings, but I think there's always a need. There's always a new building going up, there's always construction somewhere, or there's always renovations going on somewhere, and people always build houses. So there's always a need there. Electrical engineering, this is South Africa. We are, having challenges, so an electrical engineer will always be needed, a mechanical engineer will always be needed. But that is, I don't want to talk too much about that field because I'm not in that field, nor am I an expert in that field. Number 7 on the list is marketing, logistics, and supply chain management, which makes sense, because businesses need to market their products, businesses need to move their products efficiently and cost effectively to get their product to their consumer. So that's a crucial part of most business. It doesn't come as a surprise that there would be a lot of jobs in that sector. Moving on to part 3 of our video, where we discuss other factors to consider, taking into account everything I've said about careers that don't have as much jobs and those that do have jobs. I think that don't be discouraged. Number one, most important thing, I think, let me bring in a personal story as well. I studied accounting, and I remember my dad was very unhappy. I might have talked about this if you're a regular on my channel. He wanted me to study engineering, and I knew from a very young age that I didn't like or enjoy anything to do with science, because to me, science is it's not something I resonate with. If you talk about forces and hydrogen and carbon, I'm like, I can't even see those things. So it's hard for me to believe in it. I know it works. I'm not a science person personally, and I am more of a commerce person. If you talk about, I need 5 rand to buy chocolate, I understand you. If you talk about let's make a profit, I'm with you. If you talk about supply and demand, I'm with you. If you talk about debit and credit, I'm following. It's something that my brain just, it comes, like the lights just go on. But when you talk about science and carbon and hydrogen, lights out for me. So it's very important to know yourself, because studying is very difficult. I think I did a video where I was talking about how to survive university or how to pass your degree, because a lot of people, I went to university in 2014. If you are in Matric, you need to know this. the difference between matric and university is very big. I remember feeling that, wow, I'm now a first year, I've got 5 modules, and those 5 modules feels like I'm doing 5 little matrics. That's how intense university is. It's draining. It's a lot of theory dumping. It's a lot of content you have to go through. It's a lot to partake in. I remember feeling like I don't think human beings should be going through this. But remember, as I said before, the system is not for you. The system is designed to cut off the weak links. So the system doesn't actually care whether you are smart. The system just cares, do you have the, are you gonna outwit, outplay, and outlast? I'm a big Survivor fan, but honestly, I feel that is how the system is designed. It's really just for people who are going to outwit, outplay, and outlast. So you need to, and I add outplay because you need to cheat the system. So I'm derailing a little bit, but my point is there's a lot of factors to consider when it comes to what to study. It's pointless for me to say I'm gonna go study IT because there's a lot of jobs and money in that field. I don't even know what is a code or what is coding. I even struggle. I When I went to university, I didn't even know you could do equal sum in Excel. So be realistic with what you can do, what your abilities are. Secondly, a lot of people are limited by the bursary they get. So someone might say, well, I have no choice. I have to study maths because that's the bursary I got, or I have to study BA humanities because I got 50 or because I did maths lit, I couldn't do maths. But talking about people who do BA courses that don't have jobs. I know some BA courses have jobs, but some really do not. Majority do not. What I did see happening is that people would do their 3-year Bachelor of Arts degree, and then they would do a postgraduate diploma in either teaching or marketing. And those people got jobs. So even people that did your BSc, for example, just choose a regular BSc. Let's say they just did a general Bachelor of Science, and because they didn't know or couldn't see where they're gonna go work because they didn't really have a vision beyond that Bachelor of Science, they studied postgraduate diploma in um, teaching. And then because maybe let's say you did your Bachelor of Science and majored in maths, so you did applied maths, first year applied maths, second year, then you can go teach maths at university, I mean at school, at high school. So I did however hear that they want to stop that route people were taking. I don't know if they have stopped it because I think majority of the teachers was now people who did whatever they studied in university, and then they did a bachelor, a postgraduate diploma in teaching, and hence majority of teachers are coming in via that route. Remember, you can also just decide to study teaching from first year, and you choose whether you want to teach primary. They have I don't know if there's 2 phases or 3 phases, but you choose whether you want to teach primary or high school, whatever level you want to choose, you choose, and then you take that as a Bachelor of Education. So I think now they're promoting Bachelor of Education, but I think, as I said, that like there are a lot of degrees people shouldn't be going to study in their numbers, but the university is still taking these students, because what then happens if they're honest and say, look, you're coming in to study this, but actually there are no jobs in it? Unfortunately, they're not going to shoot themselves in the foot and be that honest with you. So it's very, very important to do your research. My video is all over the place, but that's because this is a very complex topic. It's a difficult conversation, and I hope people can engage with me in the comment section, because this is a conversation we need to start having. It's not really a conversation for one person to have alone. It's a conversation we need to have and be open with each other. And I would love it for people to share their stories, but people hardly ever want to share their stories. People just do their own thing and move. And I think because people are not interested in being honest with each other. There is a lot of degrees people shouldn't be going to study, because you study that thing and then you get stuck. So another factor to consider is that And this is something they started telling us even in first year, that you are here, you're getting your degree, but when you have a bachelor's degree, it's not considered special. You need to study further. And I remember I studied my Bachelor of Accounting, and I was not initially accepted into Bachelor of Accounting CA option. I was accepted into normal Bachelor of Accounting. So even if you are stuck and they've said to you, no, because of X, Y, and Z, you can only study this. Once you study that, find out what are your options, because having a bachelor's degree is a very good thing. You can have a Bachelor of Arts in Humanities and do a postgraduate diploma in marketing. Like I said, that's how a lot of people who moved from BA to marketing and got jobs through that. Because as I said, marketing is up there on jobs, up there. It's on the list of things you can study to get a job. But maybe because of whatever reason, initially they couldn't study marketing, they had to first get a degree, because having a degree gives you options to say, I want to do a postgraduate diploma in whatever. For example, I have a Bachelor of Accounting. Let's say, okay, it doesn't have to be about me. Let's say you've got a Bachelor of Science in molecular biology. Sometimes you can take a shortcut to end up going into medicine, because remember, medicine is very difficult to get into. So there's always a lot of options. Ideally, I'll just say, once you are at university, please talk to career people. There's always someone ahead of the faculty who can help you with your career options. You also need to consider location. Sometimes you're studying the right thing, but there just isn't a job for that in South Africa. So are you willing to move abroad to go do that? Sometimes you are living in a small town and you're only looking for jobs in that small town, but unfortunately you need to consider moving to the city. Or sometimes you are in the city, but you need to consider moving to the village because there is a job for that. So there's also a huge issue of what you studied and what job you get. A lot of people studied things that are up here but are working in jobs that are of lower skill. Because remember, at the end of the day, in as much as we want to do what we love, we also need to survive, and that is reality. That is why I decided to make this video. I hope this video is not too long. There's still a lot I can discuss. If you have questions, please let me know in the comment section. Let me just see if I've missed any point on my notes, and then I'll come and close this video. Another point I need to stress is the issue of being realistic with what you're good at. And I think I will link this video in this video, how to survive university and what study methods. So it's like, I'll use the IT example. I sometimes wish I knew how to program and develop softwares, but I know I can't do that. So if I go, let's say I force myself, right, and say, no, you can do anything you put your mind to, and I force myself, what is my academic record going to look like? Do you think that they're going to hire you if you have someone who passed the computer science degree in 4 years versus someone who took 6 years, and these people come in to interview? Let's say you are the business owner. You're most likely going to hire the guy who took 4 years to pass his degree versus the guy who took 6 years to pass his degree. And that's why, and sometimes there's low control. Of course, don't be discouraged. And also, it's never too late to change a course, because sometimes you might think, oh, I really like this, but once you get there, you realize, oh, this is very, very different to what I thought it was going to be. So you always, if you have to change your course, do it. Because someone who passed with an average of 60%, especially in STEM, and the career people used to come and they'll be like, yeah, but we're only taking people who are getting a 60% average. And I used to think that's wild, but they're not being unrealistic, because there is someone getting that 60%. Unfortunately, there is someone who is passing their degree cum laude. Those people are never gonna struggle, but those people are very special people. But that is just the harsh realities of life, which is why sometimes it's also good to just study something. Like, for example, medicine. Nobody cares whether you done passed the medicine with 50% or 80%. They just want a doctor. So it's a lot of things to consider. It's a lot of things to think about. Studying is not for everyone. Also, I forgot to mention that. Yeah, I love you guys for watching. Please share this video, like, comment. I know it's a complex it's a very difficult conversation to have, to have, but I hope I was gentle enough and considerate enough in how I delivered this. And honestly, the topic doesn't end. The topic really does not end. I could do a part two if you want to, if you want me to. Let me know in the comment section. I love you for watching always. Bye.